on, everyone, and welcome back to this week's episode of Outside the Arena with Mac and Griff. I'm Griffin Senek, joined by my co-host Mac Rommel, and today we have another special episode on our hands. I honestly forget the number. I was going to think of it and say it's either, I think it might be episode 20 or 21. Let me quickly check. This is episode 21.
Wow.
So we're zooming through. We got a few more episodes before the new year, and like we said, big things are coming in the new year for Outside the Arena. So stay tuned for that. We'll definitely put out a video probably on January 1st explaining what the next steps we're taking are. And we're really excited about it. And we're really excited to share that with you guys. So Mac, you ready to get the show on the road today?
I'm ready to do this. Let's get right into it.
All right. So if you want to pull up your screen and we can.
Oh, you got to enable it.
Pick it. Oh, did I not? I forgot.
Money.
Can't be forgetting that.
Nope. All right. Pull that up. All righty.
All right. So
I'm guessing we're going to start off with those running backs.
I would assume so, yeah. Kamara for 31, honestly, could be a really good deal, especially with the fact that Drew Brees is back now. Could be a big game.
Derrick Henry versus Detroit too could be another big name.
That's 38 though, which is a lot of money. Cam Akers for 29, honestly, might not be a bad pick either. He's been tearing it up, and he plays the Jets.
Cheaper option.
Naheem
Even Montgomery has been doing good.
He has been for 21. I feel like that's almost a very good deal.
How many? 23, 25, 22.
I'm gonna have to bring David Montgomery on. I mean, he is due for a bad game though, which is the only thing.
Yeah.
About that, but Miles Sanders for 20. He did last week.
I was about to say Todd Gurley, but he hasn't been doing that much offensively.
Ronald Jones is out, so Leonard Fournette, but I guess they have Shady McCoy, so I don't know how much that will be.
Yeah, let's just a check. 12.
That might be if we need a cheap running back, that might be our guy.
Yep.
You
back.
I mean, let's get a top tier running back just to start. I like Kamara.
Yeah, I'll go with
Kamara. Yeah. We'll put him in. And then for the other running back, maybe we put someone with like 20 in, like a David Montgomery, maybe at 21. And then if we need, we can come back and maybe put in Leonard Fournette and save like $10 or something like
that. All right. I agree. There.
Wide receiver. Okay. Tyreek for 34.
Okay. Oh.
Robert Woods against the Jets.
Oh, that could be good.
That could be good.
I think we add him in there.
All right, put him in. We can always go with Cooper Kupp for $2 cheaper if we really need to make some money down the line. But I think that's good for him. We could go Brandon Ayuk as well. He has been on a tear. And for 24, that doesn't even seem that bad.
Yeah, and against Dallas,
that could be a 50 piece right there.
Should I put him in?
Yeah, you can put him in.
All right. Tyler Lockett was cheap to me too.
He's been like inconsistent. I mean, I don't know if you want to check the stats, but he's been a little sketchy.
He's bound for a bounce back week soon, but
Washington football team is pretty solid though, so that scares me a little bit.
Yep. Mari for 19
could be a play.
That's a bit cheap.
How's he been doing?
Split up.
Oh wow, he's been doing good. We could put him in maybe. What about I don't know. Jarvis could be mediocre.
Yeah. I was about to say that as well. Anyone else?
I mean, we do have Kamara, but Emmanuel Sanders could be getting more looks now with Michael Thomas out, but they are playing the Chiefs, who are not bad. Emmanuel Sanders for 12.
down here it's kind of getting to the area where it's like, eh.
You just pray, yeah.
All right, so it's got to be someone up here.
Do we want to just put in the defense and like QB maybe first or something like that?
All right,
Let's go
yeah.
back. Defense.
Detroit versus Tennessee. Tennessee versus Detroit.
Yeah, I don't hate Tennessee, honestly.
That seems probably like the best cheap option.
Yeah.
Should plug that in.
Yeah, put that in.
All right.
So we got $22 per position. Can always downgrade other spots. Hurts 27 last, so he went way up.
Yeah. Hurts 27.
Gardner Minshew against Baltimore? No. Baker for 22.
Wow. That is cheap.
He's been playing really well. We might have to put him in just because we're kind of in a money crunch.
I think we should.
Yeah. I think that's right on our average for where we need to be, and Baker's been playing pretty well. So let's do that.
Tight end. See if we get someone cheaper here. Even if we get like Mark Andrews, that's right on pace with.
That's right on our pace, yeah.
But do we want to go that route? Is a question.
Yeah, so we could, if we don't go Mark Andrews, we could go for like a much cheaper guy. Like, I mean, you could even maybe do like a Goddard or an Irv Smith, and then you get more money for the flex.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Jared, but we already have. This is Logan Thomas or 18. I mean, if we're going 18, I feel like we just go with Mark Andrews at that point.
Yeah, I agree. Might as well go all out if we do decide to do that. Jared Cook is cheap. 13.
Good touchdown potential.
Yeah. Breeze back. Need someone reliable.
What about Trey Burton? What's his stats been? I know he's had good games this year. He's a guy who could boom. Yeah, he's not consistent.
Yep.
Irv Smith, check out, and then Hayden Hurst, and then we'll pick someone.
Better recently.
Yeah. He does play Chicago. Hayden Hurst, yeah. Just check.
Yeah, has not been it.
Nope. Oh. Zach Ertz for 11. I mean, what did he do? Zach Ertz is so bad last week.
We had him. Didn't do anything.
Dropped a one bomb. Jeez.
That was no bueno. Cheaper. Wait, for 10 Schultz, but he hasn't been doing much recently, but just wanted to see. Pretty cheap, but all right, so what are you thinking here?
I don't know. This is tough. I mean, we could put in Mark Andrews for now and see, or we could because if we put in Mark Andrews, we're realistically not really getting, unless we go for like a really cheap tight end, and then we go maybe we do that. We get a Mark Andrews, and then we go cheap at wide receiver 3, and then we get a good flex.
All right, let's do that then.
Or we could see. I mean, what's the $22 options of that?
For a receiver?
Yeah, or just for anyone. So it's like a Brandon Cooks, and then
drop off.
Yeah, so maybe let's pick in like the low area, like 14 and below. So then we have 30 plus.
Rager, Cook, Gallup. Oh, they're good options.
I mean, Emmanuel Sanders is definitely the guy that I feel like could be the one.
Yeah.
Just because Michael Thomas is out, so.
I agree. I think we should put him in.
Yeah, I agree. I know we have Kamara, but I feel like we need money, and that's a good budget.
Yeah, it'll be the best of both worlds. So we have 32 to spend. That's like a Calvin Ridley type player.
Yeah.
I wonder if we were to create money elsewhere, but to get $6 and somehow get a Henry versus Detroit.
I mean, if we took out Mark Andrews for we could. Who was the running back we're looking at that was cheap? Oh, it was Leonard Fournette. So if we plugged in like Leonard Fournette for David Montgomery, And then we could do like a Dalvin. I would rather have Derek, honestly. So like a Derek Henry.
Same. Should we do that?
It's your call, honestly. I'm good with what it's either. If we want Derek Henry, it's either Montgomery or Mark Andrews. We got to sum it up.
Oof, that's a tough one.
Yeah.
What about these other options? Nick Chubb versus Giants.
AJ Brown versus Detroit, maybe. I mean, what AJ Brown had a big week last week, right?
Feeling
20,
like
yeah.
it's having a big week every other weekish.
I know. I agree. I feel like Derrick Henry is the guy we want here.
Agreed. So if we were to do $8 or $6, we have to create. So that's a $16 player. So that's like a Goddard.
Yeah. What's Andrews been doing the past few weeks?
He was on the COVID reserve for a portion of it, but yeah, he hasn't even been too outstanding.
Yeah. This is tough.
Yeah. Let's go back here. See, so he 6, so that's 15. Yeah, that's probably a no-go for that. Unless we were to just drop a few dollars down on both positions, but
So we go for like JD McKissick and then Hawkinson, and then we pick a $10 defense.
how about that?
What's McKissick been doing? Because if Gibby's out,
So yeah, even with him in there, he's been getting some looks.
yeah, that's fun. So do we want to do that instead?
Why not? Why not?
All right. So do McKissick.
Wait.
And
Whoops. Minus. McKissick.
Put in Derrick Henry there maybe for now.
All right. Henry. Okay.
We have 15, so we need $3 more. So then we said Hawkinson, right?
Yep. So we put in
and then a cheaper defense. And then a $10 defense, yeah.
All right.
Low-key Dallas D, like I don't hate that just because San Fran's offense has been so bad.
And how they played last week too.
Yeah, honestly, that might be the better defense here regardless. So let's pick up them. All right, this team it's solid. I like the team.
Yeah, the running backs are definitely what's going to carry.
Yeah, but the receivers all are like the number ones on their team basically. So Hawkinson's good, and McKissick could be the X factor.
This is a good team.
Yeah, I like it.
So cheap, they'll kind of saved us.
I know Baker for 22 is it's what we need.
Yep,
it's a solid team right there. I like it.
Very solid, very very solid.
All right, so I guess that will take us to actually talking about real life football. A lot of action this week, obviously, with some Saturday night games already in session, and as well as the Thursday night showdown. I mean, we'll touch on a few games from last week. I don't want to go too in depth, but we'll definitely talk about that Browns game, but we'll touch on that last. We can start with the Buccaneers and the Vikings, maybe. Pretty good showdown here. Dan Bailey pretty much cost the Vikings this game. Tom Brady had an all right game, looked all right, but he's starting to use all those weapons. You know, you see here, he didn't really distribute. He just started distributing the ball more. I mean, no one really went off, but that was kind of the game the Bucs played. So what were your thoughts? I know you're not a huge Buccaneers kind of guy. So what were you thinking when you saw this one?
Yeah, I was definitely watching that game, and especially those Dan Bailey missed field goals. That's a problem. I think that you may have to look over to the YouTube side for a new kicker. Maybe someone might be destroying or something for the Vikings. But overall, this was a great performance by the Buccaneers. And as you said, Tom Brady was starting to throw the ball around, spread the ball out, and they had success doing that. Offense was great. Defense was good. This game obviously would have been closer with the field goals, but if your defense being able to stop the Vikings and hold them to only field goals, that's what you want. You don't want them to be putting up consistent touchdowns. So this is a great performance by the Buccaneers. Vikings, on the other hand, had to fix some things up on special teams, but this game would have been a lot closer if those field goals were not missed.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said there. I think it was Tom Brady's really he's been, all right this year. He's been inconsistent. The deep ball is what's killed him. He hasn't really been able to hit that. And, that's what we saw Jameis Winston really take advantage of last year. He was able to throw that deep ball to a guy like Mike Evans. And I feel like Tom Brady hasn't even like tapped into that. You got guys like Gronk, Mike Evans, who are great downfield threats, and he's just making bad throws to them and stuff like that. So it's getting better, but definitely something that needs to be fixed for Brady going into the playoffs. But yeah, this is the type of game you want against the Buccaneers, against the contending team. That's what you wanted to see from them. They needed the win, a good bounce back week, and I believe they played the Falcons this week. So the schedule definitely favors them. This team I could easily see going 11-5. Maybe they drop one of the Falcons, like a 10-5 season. So overall success, or 10-6 season, sorry. So overall, I think it'll be a successful season for them, but we'll see. They could make a run in the playoffs. We don't really know. That defense could be the X factor there. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. That defense, great, especially with that young rookie in the back, and Antoine Winfield. The kid's he's a baller to say the least. That defense has X factors all over, and this Buccaneers team could go far, but it also could end pretty quickly. So we're gonna have to see how that plays out once the playoffs come.
I feel like we got to touch on the Dolphins and just check out
Yep.
Mr. Van
Your boy
Ginkle. Did
Van
he meet
Ginkel.
his tackle requirement? He did not. He only got 2, but he did, I believe, tip a pass that led to an interception. So,
It's your
really good
boy.
job by the Gangster. Yeah, Xavier Howard is so nice. It's kind of ridiculous. He has like picks.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I thought this was a really good effort from the Miami Dolphins. It's kind of what we needed to see from them. Is just one of these games, and Tua especially threw the ball 48 times, 316 yards. That's what you want to see out of him. You want to see him be able to use that. He had kind of been a little cautious before, really not having these huge passing games, but that also can pay a tribute to the fact that they don't have great weapons. But Mike Gesicki, Tua and him have started to build a connection. I know he's injured. I don't know if he's playing this week. I'm not too sure. But you look at this. I mean, Devontae Parker got injured right off the rip, so he didn't even have a catch. So you're really dealing with a bunch of random guys here. But that's kind of been the Dolphins' offense this year. Gaskins on the COVID list. So you got DeAndre Washington taking the running back snaps. It's a pretty interesting cast. And to play within 6 within the Chiefs, I think it shows the strength of that defense. The defense has been key for them this year. Probably the best cornerback duo in the league in Xavier Howard and Byron Jones. And then on the flip side of this game, Pat Mahomes probably is one of his worst games of the season, honestly, just because of 3 picks. But otherwise, he looked great. Kyle Edwards-Helaire really didn't get anything going. Travis Kelce put up the same exact stat line, pretty impressive. He's an absolute star. And then Tyreek Hill continues to do his thing. I believe he has 16 total touchdowns on the season now. So Chiefs are just doing their thing, but a good strong showing from the Dolphins, a playoff hopeful.
Yeah, couldn't agree more with everything that you said there, but really, really, I gotta give credit to the Dolphins. As you said, they lost Devontae Parker early. You have a rookie quarterback in there. You played great. You hung with the Chiefs, and for most teams, you're not going to beat the Chiefs right now. They're pretty unstoppable. So if you're able to even hang with the Chiefs like the Dolphins did, that shows how good your team really is and the potential that it has to be. There's no way you're going to slow down the Chiefs, or they're going to be putting up 30 points every week. So if you're able to hang with them, that's the only way you'll have a shot at beating them. The Miami Dolphins laid out how you have to play against the Chiefs, really just right on platter. But started off very hot early. Let a few scores get to them in the second and third quarter, as you guys see there. But really good start from the Dolphins, and if they are able to finish things out and slow them down, the Chiefs, that is, in the second and third quarter, they really easily could have won this game.
Yeah, it would have been a great game to see what happened, but overall, still a strong showing from the Miami Dolphins, who will look to squeeze into the playoffs.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about your Dallas Cowboys, or do you want to touch on that briefly, maybe?
Sure, why not? My Dallas Cowboys. I mean, we have a 1.1% shot at making the playoffs. So some of you fans get excited because it's not going to happen. But this was a really good effort by the Dallas Cowboys. Came out early. Some long drives by the Bengals. The defense came out hot, just played with effort, something you haven't seen yet this season. Really, it's a bit late for that to be happening, but they're starting to show effort now, and it's great. They got so many fumbles this game, led to so many points. Alden Smith even had a defensive touchdown. Great by the defense, and offensively, they did what they had to do. Nothing spectacular run the ball, nothing spectacular passing the ball, but they did what they had to do. This was a defensive win, and that was kind of a bright side for the Cowboys' future, considering their defense has not been great, to say the least, this season.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think it's a good game for their future. That said, I mean, Brandon Allen was at the quarterback position, and Trayvon Williams was the starting running back. So you look at the Bengals offense, and you expect them to really, really struggle, and they did. But props to the Cowboys, man. They played a great game. The one thing I know it's Andy Dalton, but I just like to see them spread the ball around more. I mean, I feel like you guys like CeeDee Lamb and Michael Gallup really haven't even gotten going this season. So, it'll be even more interesting to see next season, assuming the Cowboys do bring back Dak Prescott, what that offense is going to look like. I mean, Michael Gallup probably might end up leaving, honestly. I could see that happening just because, his role is not really prevalent right now. He's kind of the third guy. So I feel like he'll go somewhere where he'll have a more clear role to get in some targets. But I mean, the future's still bright. You got Amari, you got CeeDee, obviously Zeke, but the O-line will come back. So it's really a lost season for the Cowboys at this point.
Yeah.
I think the fans should be cheering for a tank at this point, just because the playoffs are. I mean, you're gonna have to win your last, what is it, 3 or 4 games now? 3 games.
And the football team has to lose out as well too.
Yeah, so it's unlikely, but we'll see what happens. Dallas. Who knows what will happen with that? But
Oh man, I see the game a little bit lower.
a little. You want this one or no? I mean, let's just. I don't know. We'll talk about the Raiders on Thursday night game. But
yeah,
which one are you eyeing? This one?
right below that. One more.
One more?
One more below.
Football team?
The one to the right of it. One to the right of it.
Saints. Oh,
there you go.
There. All right. Well, you wanted this one, so I'm gonna let you take the charge here.
Jalen Hurts first start. I don't know what to say. This game was great. Jalen Hurts came out fired up, and this is gonna have a lot of controversy in the next few weeks. They decided he's gonna be the starter again this week, and now it's kind of looking like Carson Wentz could be gone this offseason. Jalen Hurts played great. I mean, the stats, of course, not outstanding numbers, but what you got to do against the Saints, just be complimentary to your team. Of course, you see what he did in the run game as well. 106 yards. This is the first game in how many games was this? I believe it was maybe over 50 straight games where the Saints haven't allowed a 100-yard rusher, and they allowed 2 this game. The Eagles figured out how to beat the Saints. I know they only had Taysom Hill at quarterback, but this is the only team that was able to beat Taysom Hill at quarterback. So great effort by the Eagles. For the Saints, they really couldn't get things going offensively to start the game, started to puzzle things along as the game went along, but were unable to finish it off, ended up losing this game. But Jalen Hurts really, really showed signs of greatness for this Eagles offensive team.
Yeah, I completely agree with everything you said. I feel like Miles Sanders kind of was the X factor on this team. You needed him to get going, and he did. He put up 2 touchdowns, 115 yards, and had 4 catches as well, something you need to see from them. And great game from Jalen Hurts. I mean, you're making your first career start against a very good football team, arguably the best in the NFC, and you beat them. I mean, that couldn't be a better confidence builder. Eagles defense really played great here. You were looking to see them have a good game, and they did. You look at the Saints' production. I mean, it was pretty solid. I mean, Taysom Hill, obviously, it just seems like definitely some of those stats came towards the end of the game and were padded towards them. But they did do a good job of containing Taysom Hill. But is he a franchise quarterback? I don't know. He played very well, but it's definitely hard to say. I feel like the sample size still is a little too small. I mean, he had some games in there against Atlanta. He played the Denver team where he really wasn't throwing the ball because they just wanted to cheat the clock. So we'll see. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen here, but Saints will look to bounce back this week against the best team in the NFL, though. So we'll see what happens there. But tough loss again for the Saints, but really good showing from Jalen Hurts, the potential star rookie quarterback. Now, who knows what we're saying with that?
Yep. It's crazy.
Um, all right, so I don't know if we have time to discuss them both, but would you rather talk about Bills, Steelers, or Ravens, Browns here?
I think we got to go with the game of the year.
I agree.
The
All right,
year,
this
Ohio,
game was crazy.
your Ohio team, the Browns, with a pretty good performance. This is the Ravens at the Browns. Game of the year probably. And since you got your Ohio roots in you somehow, I'm gonna let you start off with this one.
And this was a crazy, crazy game. You look at the fourth quarter. I mean, look at all the points scored there. Lamar Jackson, I mean, the Browns did not have a good showing to start, honestly. They really, really looked like they were having a slow start. And then when Lamar had his cramps, as he's been calling them, the team really got going. I mean, the defense, it really had trouble, and they've always had trouble since Lamar's entered the league with stopping Lamar Jackson. They can't seem to do it. Their defense is definitely the issue of this team. Their offense, which I'll touch on in a second, is fantastic. But the defense really has trouble with mobile quarterbacks, and we saw that the Ravens really took advantage of that with Lamar, like you see, and they just didn't pass the ball. I mean, he threw 17 times, and he had that Marquise Brown touchdown, but it was just defensively. I mean, it became a shootout, but defensively, you can't let that happen. That said, this is 100% a game the Browns should take as a positive. Obviously, it would have been really nice to beat the Ravens, potentially put them in a spot where they'd miss the playoffs. But I mean, Baker Mayfield is establishing himself as the franchise quarterback. I think officially these past few weeks he's been fantastic. Uh, he's been very good recently. People like to hate on him, but he's definitely had a huge uh, step in the right direction this season. Nick Chubb, that's what you expect from him. Kareem Hunt, really, really good game out of the receiving field. I mean, he had that one catch. I believe it was like a 4th and 1, and he ran a route in a little like fade towards the end, towards the goal line there, and they punched in on that. So, good to see they spread the ball around really well with all their targets, their tight ends. Austin Hooper wasn't available, so you can blame it on what you want here, but um, Miles Garrett didn't really get to the quarterback. That could be another issue here. The Ravens did a good job of containing him. But other than that, I thought it was a really, really strong showing from both teams. I mean, both these teams will be in the playoffs. The Browns not worried about their playoff status. They got the G-men with Colt and Freddie calling the plays, and then they got the Jets. So
Yeah, but
Browns will at least.
Freddie's trying to get some revenge now.
Dude, I mean, that'll be a story. That'll be a great storyline. But we'll touch on that later, and I'll let Mac touch on this one so we can get to the past games from this week.
All right, so this game, great showing by both teams. Defensively, that was not the focus of this game, obviously, if you couldn't tell already. But this was a great offensive performance by both teams. For the Ravens, this was kind of reassuring that Lamar Jackson still has that juice in him to be an 100-yard rusher, be explosive on not many carries, 9 carries, 124 yards, and 2 touchdowns. That's last year's MVP for him, to say the least, and then passing the ball 163 yards. That is it feels like that's identical to how he played last year, and that's what you want to see out of the Ravens. That's how they got to play, and then just compliment some other guys like J.K. Dobbins had a few good runs in this game, and then same thing with Gus Edwards. But on the other hand, on the other side for the Browns, this is really passing the ball. That was Baker Mayfield's time, and as Griffin said, he could be potentially the franchise quarterback of the future for this team. I'm not sure about that yet, and that's just due to the inconsistencies. Could he continue doing this for the rest of the season into the playoffs? We're gonna have to see. And if he does that, I'll have to agree with Griffin pretty easily. But right now, I think the main question of Baker Mayfield's career has just been his consistency. He's been good some weeks, he's been great some weeks, then he's been bad some weeks, and that's kind of the problem for him. But the past few weeks, he's been very, very consistent, and that's led to a lot of Brown success. The Browns and the Ravens have a lot to look forward to after this game offensively, but defensively, I think that's just a little bit of a miss. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out the word to say for this. Just a poor game from both teams, so they'll definitely bounce back from that after this week.
I think at the end of this game, the Browns, the drive where they had the Kareem Hunt pass touchdown after the Marquise Brown one, that drive was I mean, that was one of the most dominant offensive drives I have seen in a while, I have to say. I mean, the way they just marched down, they hit their guys, and they just scored. I mean, it was quick,
Hmm.
did what they had to, and it was that drive was really impressive. I think there's a lot of things the Browns offense can be able to take and apply to the future with this game. So really good performance there. And that will do it for week 14. I can't believe it started week 15. I was like thinking about it this morning. I was like, is week 14 or 15? It's
Crazy.
week 15. That is crazy. The playoffs are in a few weeks. I mean, what happened in the season, dude? Honestly,
I know it's like
it's
it's just
crazy.
crazy to think that's almost over. We're gonna be
I
talking
know.
about the draft, free agency so soon. It's just feels so weird.
I know. I know. All right. We got to talk about the Vegas Raiders, playoff hopeful that probably at this point is unlikely to make the playoffs. They have been really terrible recently. I don't know what's happened. We were so big on this team, but
Shame.
it
Yeah.
just seems like they're kind of frauds. I mean, Derek Carr didn't get hurt, but Mariota did play very well. I feel like Mariota added actually a strength to this offense, which was really interesting to see.
Yep.
Darren Waller, huge game, but ultimately, one score, of course, classic Chargers game. But Herbert played well. Eckler really didn't get going, but Keenan was not really much of a factor because he was injured, but he used his other targets. He spread the ball around to guys like Jalen Guton. I don't know if I'm saying that right. I probably aren't. And Tyron Johnson. Hunter Henry had his biggest game of the year. So Chargers played well. I mean, got to give them credit where credit's due. The defense played solid. I mean, the Chargers are a 5-win team right now. It seems like they're turning it around. People were saying, last week even I was talking about on the podcast, I believe before they had their win and then this one, that maybe they're just not good. But I think they're a good team. They're they might honestly. I don't know what their schedule is. Broncos, Chiefs. I mean, they'll probably win 6 games for the year, 6-10. They're screwing themselves out of that draft pick real quick though. So any hope of them getting like a Peni Sewell, that's not his name. Basically, I had to pronounce that, but we'll just act like it is. But yeah, I mean the Chargers don't really need like they have the talent. The talent's there. It's just about maybe another piece or two on that defense. I don't really know what the team's missing to be honest. But good game from them and the Raiders. Probably the dagger in their playoff hopes.
Yep, I agree with everything you said there. This is a great performance by the Chargers, kind of reassuring what we originally thought earlier on in the season that this team is a good team. It just hasn't been able to put it together. But on the other hand, for the Raiders, that's a team that we also were very high on earlier on in the season. They have not been doing much recently, and we haven't been on their side really at all the past 4 or 5 weeks, whatever it's been. But this game, Derek Carr got hurt, and to have a backup quarterback in there and Marcus Mariota, who hasn't been great the past few years, been a backup, hasn't been a starter. He last played for the Tennessee Titans as a starter. But this is what you wanted to see out of a backup quarterback. He played great, 226 yards, passed the ball with touchdown interception. He hung in there. He had the team having multiple leads at points in the game and then running the ball too. He didn't just get it going past the ball. He ran the ball 88 yards on 9 carries and a touchdown from your quarterback. That is amazing. So this is a great performance offensively for the Raiders, I believe, with backup quarterback in there. But Josh Jacobs, I mean, his name has not been in the good column to say the least the past few weeks. 2.9 yards per carry. That's not going to cut it in the NFL right now. If you want to be considered one of the best backs in the league, as he earlier in the season was, and I think it's kind of been since Josh Jacobs has dipped when this team has started to fail and not perform as good. But Darren Waller, great story, great player, and a great game by him this week. So this is a great performance, I think, by both teams, and just the team. How do I word this? I'll just say it, the team with the rookie of the year pulled it out.
Yeah, they did. They did. They really did here. And really, I mean, the Chargers have a lot of good running backs on the team. A lot of good depth there. Kalen Balaj, I mean, don't look at the 1.4, but yeah, good Chargers win there. I mean, I don't know how much we want to touch on these two games. The Bills, just in another league compared to the Broncos. Broncos are,
Yeah,
not really too good, but the Bills, congrats on their first division title in what was it, like 25 years? Was that true?
1995, I think, was the last
That's
time.
crazy. So the Buffalo Bills are crushing it. Josh Allen, huge, huge game from him. And they've really got a good running back tandem now in Zach Moss and Devin Singletary, two really underrated guys. And then all of a sudden they got a top two, a really strong wide receiver doing Diggs and Beasley. Cole Beasley's been very good this season. So
Yep.
I don't know if you want to say anything more on that, but just overall solid win for the Bills there. And, Broncos team that's rebuilding, it's kind of what you expect to get from them.
Yep. Not much to add on. You hit the nail right on the head there. Bills, as you said, just a whole another league compared to the Broncos. Broncos rebuild mode. You lost your number one wide receiver early on in the season, who was supposed to be a key part of this team and offense. So a big loss there that really contributes to how bad this offense was doing and has been doing. But Bills overall, great performance offensively, great performance defensively. Not much else to say here.
Noah Fant put up a good game. And one thing I want to just say, and honestly, I might pose you a quick question here. Judy, 1 catch, 19 yards. Jerry Judy has been really, really quiet this year. And I feel like it's probably could be attributed to the quarterback play. So I know my answer. I think I know yours here. But I mean, what are your thoughts on Drew Lock? They obviously have been testing him out, see if he's a franchise quarterback. He looked great at the end of last year, but is he still, do you think he should get another shot next year to be the quarterback of this team? Or do you think it's time to look maybe for a trade like the Jets have said, maybe a Sam Darnold kind of guy, or even go to free agency and maybe try and find someone that they can turn into the John Elway can turn into the next John Elway potentially?
It's really hard to say, considering coming into the season, all of the high expectations that were there for Drew Lock, and as I said before, with Cortland Sutton, your number one receiver, gone early on in the season, you knew the offense was bound to struggle with a rookie wide receiver being your number one, a rookie wide receiver now being your number two in slot. So just it's too young of an offense right now to say. I think if you had Cortland Sutton in there and he was performing like this or maybe just slightly better, then I would say this is more of a Drew Lock situation where you may be looking to get rid of him now. But I just think you have too many young pieces out there right now. No one really leading that offense in the receiving game. So I think Drew Lock is going to get another shot with Cortland Sutton in there and developed Jerry Judy and KJ Hamler. They're going to have a full training camp this year. They're going to have really everything they need to improve. So that may be the reason why some of these rookie wide receivers who are expected to be great have been good, but not to expectations, not hitting their expectations. I think that next year Drew Lock will return, but next year will be the deciding year of if he stays or not.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like I just don't see like anything too special about him. I just feel like he's just
Mhm.
kind of average. So I don't know. I feel like it would be wise for them to definitely look for at least some competition for him because he needs to have some sort of pressure on him because right now they don't really have I mean, I think Jeff Driscoll is the backup QB, so there's no pressure on Drew Lock.
Mhm.
He's starting. There's no one's going to take that job away from him. But if you bring in a veteran who's hungry, who wants the chance to start again in the NFL, it could be a lot of pressure on him, and that's what I think he needs. He needs to know that hey, if you're not performing, we got a guy right behind you that's been in this league for a while that knows what he's doing, and he's going to come right in. And you're going to take your job, and then you're not going to be a starter in this league anymore. So I don't know. We'll see. I feel like they could make a move, but they're not going to land, top. I mean, they could maybe get a quarterback in the draft. We'll talk about maybe a little college at the end of this briefly. Maybe Justin Fields falls to them after that pathetic performance in the Big Ten championship. I mean, Justin Fields, his draft stock has not been doing too well lately.
Yep. And it kind of stinks with him too. It's he has everything you want, a lot of potential, but then also the areas he's not good at are the areas you have to be good at in the NFL. Like a big problem with Dak Prescott a few years ago, he was able to fix it. Thankfully. And that was hold on to the ball too long, trying to make plays, and then you're getting a sack. You're ending up in third and long, second and long. You can't come back from it. So, and that's one of the main problems Justin Field has. Or he'll try and throw the ball, and it'll end up being an interception, just trying to avoid some of this pressure, trying to make a big play happen when it's not there. And that's something once against the NFL he could really, really struggle with. So we're gonna have to see how he develops there, if he changes anything if the Ohio State Buckeyes do somehow make the playoffs.
Yeah, we'll see what happens there. We will give our college football playoff predictions at the end of this episode. So yeah, stay tuned for that, or you fast forward, do whatever you want. But Packers, I mean, I don't really have too much to say. I don't know if you do. Just kind of,
No.
good thing for Aaron Jones to get going. You need to see that, but otherwise, I mean, nuts, and just classic Packers. They kept it a little close. I feel like it was a down game for them, but it's just like whatever with this game, honestly.
Yeah, there was nothing spectacular, but it's the one thing I'll say that is kind of crazy. It's you're seeing how Aaron Jones is performing, and it's a surprise that he's probably not going to be in a Packers uniform next year.
Yep. I mean, they bring in AJ Dillon, kind of for him and Jamal Williams to replace him. Aaron Jones going to be a lot of money, and it sucks for Aaron Rodgers. His weapons just continue to deplete by the second. So.
Yep. Yep.
All right. Well, that will take us to our predictions for the week. We got to start tallying this thing up, honestly. I mean, it's getting late in the season, but I feel like,
I have a piece of paper right here. I'll
okay.
How about I write them down?
All right, sounds good. But I'm saying for the whole season, like one of us needs to go through for the whole season.
Yeah.
And like that, and see who's winning. Maybe if we can get it done, we'll have it done by either the next episode or by week 17. So then that episode, we'll see if maybe we'll put like a wager on it if it's close. We'll see. So
why not?
All right, let's get it going. Texans, Colts. I'm gonna start with you on this one, Matt.
So I believe the last time we had this division rivalry game, I think we chose the Texans. So you know what? Colts hater, I really want to say the Colts this game. They're at home versus division rival. We already chose the Texans for this one. I really want to say the Colts are going to win this, and that's probably what is going to happen. But you know what? Give me the Texans. Deshaun Watson. I mean, this kid is a monster. Easy top 5 quarterback in the league right now, and I'm excited to see how good he'll be when he has weapons. This offense now has David Johnson back. Nothing spectacular, but it's a piece that'll definitely help this team win a few games or help keep them close in some games. But for the Colts, they've been playing fairly well. They won last week. And this week have a good shot at winning. But overall, this is going to be a game where Deshaun Watson has to throw the ball for at least 330 yards if they want to win this game. David Johnson will have to be competent in pass blocking, maybe not running the ball, but they're going to have to win this game through the air versus the Colts team with a very good defense and a very, very good offense as well.
As much as it pains me to say, I can't pick against the Colts here. Really, really good win last week against the Vegas Raiders. The run game has gotten going, and that's the key for me. Jonathan Taylor is really playing really well, and they use Nyheim Hines in the passing game. They have Jordan Wilkins there who plays a bit, and that's the key. They have good tight ends as well, Mo Cox, Trey Burton, to name a few of those guys. And the receivers, they got T.Y. Hilton involved. T.Y. Hilton was doing nothing, but now he's all of a sudden getting in there, getting catches, getting touchdowns. So the Colts have finally put the pieces together. They got Jonathan Taylor going. They got T.Y. Hilton going. Philip Rivers has been playing well. And the defense is strong enough to me that I feel like the Colts are actually a fairly decent, pretty solid football team. So they're not going to be a contender in the playoffs, but I do think they will pick up the win this week against the Houston Texans. So I'm going to go with them.
Yep, can't go against that one.
Lions, Titans. I'll start. I'm going to pick Tennessee here. Matt Stafford is dealing with some injuries. I believe he's going to play, but that could reduce, his performance. Obviously, Kenny Golladay. Who knows where Kenny Golladay is at this point? We'll see if DeAndre Swift can have a nice game, but I just think the Tennessee Titans offense will be too high-powered here for the Detroit Lions to keep up with.
Yep, I agree with everything you just said. The Titans, great team, been playing great recently. Derrick Henry, I mean, we know how he's been playing. No need to really talk much about him. But you're seeing players like Corey Davis now, the former top 5 pick. He hasn't done much in his career thus far. This year, he's playing fairly well, starting to break into his shell, showing signs of that top 5 pick that we really haven't seen before. But for the Lions, as you said, a lot of problems with injuries, confusion. They're having DeAndre Swift back. That's going to be a big help. But there's no way that the Lions could keep up this week. You don't even have Jeff Okudah, your number 1 corner. So this is going to be a bad week for the Lions, and I think the Titans could get 14-point win here, maybe.
Yeah, I could see something like that happening as well. Bears, Vikings. This is a good game. Both teams are 6-7. Loser of this game is going to be not making the playoffs for sure, probably.
Yep.
Winner, maybe they have a chance. I don't really know what the playoff bracket looks like right now. Oh, that's what we should have predicted the playoffs in the
Well, let's do it.
before the
We got to
season.
do that
That would
next
have been
week.
good. We'll do it,
Let
I
me
guess,
see.
next week, but like I'm saying, before the season, we should have done that. That would have been cool.
Yeah.
We'll do that for. I mean, we could do it for NBA next week, honestly, if we both get going. But we're doing a little discussion right now on the podcast. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So they
2021's big year.
and both teams have a shot. Their Vikings are the 8th seed, so they're right out the playoffs behind the Cardinals, who are 7-6, and the Bears
Okay.
are right behind the Vikings. So both teams have a pretty good shot at making the playoffs. So
All right. I'm gonna go Minnesota here. Bears. They played really, really well last week, but that probably means that Mitch is due for a rough one. Vikings at home. I feel like the offense will get going, even though it's the Bears. I feel like this offense plays pretty bad in Chicago, but when they're at home, I just feel like it's a weird environment. They start to get it going. So I think they'll have a bounce back week. I think Dan Bailey will make his kicks today. I feel like he's definitely worked his ass off this week. You can tell that he's not going to miss another kick for the rest of the season, hopefully. Otherwise, he will be cut. So, yeah, I feel like Thielen, Jefferson, Dalvin Cook, I feel like that'll be a hard combination here for the Bears to stop. So I'm going to pick Minnesota.
yeah, I'm going to pick Minnesota as well. They're at home here fighting for that playoff spot. They're going to make it even closer right now. Dalvin Cook, beast. He's going to play. Well, actually, you know what? This week, I actually don't think Dalvin Cook may have the best week. The Bears have been kind of seemed like the team that has been able to figure Dalvin out, but I think this is a week Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, they're going to get involved, make some plays. Maybe even Irv Smith, who are thinking about picking before, could have a big week. Offensively, I do think this is going to be a low-scoring game, but this can be a very close game. But I do think the Vikings will come out on top over the Bears and Trubisky, as you said. I mean, you have a good week. He's not going to have a good week this week. It's just how he is. I mean, it's kind of crazy how they drafted him over Sean Watson, Mahomes, and some of these guys there. But this is going to be a big win for the Vikings, trying to make them or put them into the playoffs.
I think that Mitch Trubisky pick is going to go down as the worst pick in Bears history. I truly believe that. I mean, when you could add two superstars, potential future Hall of Famers, potentially the GOAT, potentially. We could be talking about a young GOAT in the making. And you freaking choose Mitchell Trubisky. Seahawks football team is going to start Dwayne Haskins. This could be a really, really interesting game, but I'm going to start with you on this one. I want to see what you pick, to be honest here. So what are you thinking here?
This is a lot of people are going to think this is obvious. But I'm picking the Seahawks. It's not really obvious to me. You have Dwayne Haskins. And I actually think he's actually going to put up a pretty good performance today. He's fighting. He wants to be a starting quarterback in this league. He really hasn't gotten the opportunities. He hasn't really had the team around him. But Alex Smith is showing what you have to do to have success with this team offensively. And Dwayne Haskins going to come in and try to replace that and try and fulfill his former 7th overall pick or 7th overall selection. So I think Dwayne Haskins is coming out here with a lot to fight for. He's trying to prove he's a starting quarterback in this league. He's going to make it close, and I think he's going to have a really good game, keeping it close, maybe even somehow pulling out a win. But right now, the Seahawks, their passing game is too good. DK Metcalf is a beast. Defensively, they've been playing a little bit better, but the Seahawks still have some things they have to work on, but the Seahawks should be able to pull out a win here.
I'm going to go for the football team here. And I'm going to tell you why. That D-line for the football team, I think, is the difference here. The Seahawks O-line is really nothing special. I don't know their exact ranking in terms of like PFF and stuff like that, but I know it's not very good. You got Chase Young. He's really, really starting to find his own. He had a touchdown last week. You got De'Aaron Payne there, I believe, is healthy. I know Ioannidis is hurt, I believe. There's a bunch of guys there. I honestly blank a little bit there, but you got a good defense. You got a good secondary that, rookie Curl is playing very well recently in replacement for Collins. And I feel like the football team is going to be motivated on offense. You talk about Dwayne Haskins. He came in last week. He hadn't had really first-team reps. So, I mean, you can use that as an excuse. I'm not necessarily going to, but, he had the first team reps at QB this week. He was practicing with the first team, so he's getting his reps, getting the practice. He's being able to prepare better than he usually would. And, you're going against the Seahawks defense that really has not been that impressive this season. And I think the key for the football team here, it's going to be their defense. If their defense can slow down Russell Wilson, slow down that Seahawks offense, then I truly believe that the Washington football team will be able to win this game. And if Dwayne Haskins wins this game and has a good performance, I mean, great for him. He deserves it. He's really, had a tough time so far in the league. I'm not saying, he didn't deserve to be benched. He definitely, I mean, maybe not after that game he had against Baltimore. I felt like that was a little too soon, but he definitely has not been as expected. He's really not been too good. So definitely not excusing the benching, but it would just be nice to see him get a win, as an Ohio State guy also. It just would be a good feeling to see him have success. So I'm going to go football team here. Bit of a risky pick, but hey, why not?
Why not?
Pats, Dolphins. I'm going to let you take it away from here with these predictions. So
right.
yeah, you take it from here.
All right, New England Patriots, Miami Dolphins. This one's easy for me. This is gonna be the Miami Dolphins for me. You got your boy Van Ginkel. I mean, I don't know if you're gonna make a bet this week on a jersey. We're gonna see that in a couple of moments. But Dolphins, you saw what they did last week versus the Chiefs. Played outstanding, hung with the Chiefs. And if you could hang with the Chiefs, you could beat most teams in this league. This should be a pretty easy win for the Dolphins. Could be an even 10-point win here for me. I'm not going to say much on this game. Dolphins are going to get the win.
I agree with you. Miami is going to win this game. And I'm going to put a wager on the line for the Gangster. I mean, I couldn't not do it. I'm going to say if Van Ginkel, I want to say gets a sack. Is there a way to track the number of snaps played? I wonder. Because if there is, we will be doing that. Snaps, yes. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So he's been playing 46, 24, 39, 45, 29, 22, 31. And that was 50% of the snaps. So it seems like he's trending towards over about 50% of snaps. Oh, special teams, he had 27. How is that even possible?
Wait.
27 special team snaps?
Wait. That includes, but even with punts included, defensively.
Punts, kickoffs, that seems like way too high.
So kickoffs, just say this, 6, 7 kickoffs in a game. So they're 6, and then there's no way.
Maybe it could be because I guess you're kicking, they're kicking, you're punting, they're punting.
Oh yeah, and extra points as well.
Extra points. It seems like a lot, but maybe I guess it's accurate. But I'm not going to look at special teams. I'll go to defensive snaps. If Van Gangster, if he plays over 31 snaps, I'll say, since he's only done that 1, 2, 3, 4 times this year. So if he plays 32 or more snaps on defense, I will get his jersey. That is a fun one. That's a fun one. So 32 or more off defensive snaps for Van Ginkel. I'll make sure to keep track of that. And maybe even try and get the jersey for next week if he does do that. Maybe Santa will come down the chimney with my Van Ginkel jersey. Send Santa a quick letter. But yeah, I'll go Dolphins here. Don't have too much else to say with that one.
Yep. But now we got the Jacksonville Jaguars over at the Baltimore Ravens. We know what the Baltimore Ravens have been doing last week, balled out against the Browns. Jaguars fighting for that second overall pick, and now it's kind of getting confusing. That pick could be looking like it could be getting traded away if they do end up with that. I mean, I don't know if you're going to want to spend that second overall pick on Justin Fields right now. So that's a question that we're going to have to see be answered very soon. But this game for me is going to be easy. It's going to be the Ravens. Jaguars, they're tanking. They're just bad as well. I mean, you're not starting Minshew. That whole thing, not starting for those few weeks is just proof that you're tanking. I mean, you're not going to bench Minshew to win games. It makes no sense.
Mike Glennon.
Yep. But this one should be pretty easy. Ravens win it. Could be 10-point plus.
Yeah, I think Ravens win this one. by more than Andrew Van Ginkel's defensive snaps. So, yeah, I'll just leave it at that.
All right, my bad. So I was writing writing that down, trying to keep track about it this week.
Oh, the
But,
games, yeah.
Yep. But now we got those Tampa Bay Buccaneers fighting, making the playoffs. I mean, if they somehow lose out, I mean, we could be saying they don't make the playoffs. Teams like the Vikings overcome them, but they're playing the Atlanta Falcons. This one could be a win for them. But you know what? This is going to be my upset of the week. I hate Buccaneers. It's like I'm picking against them every week. Give me the Atlanta Falcons. I think this is a game Calvin Ridley could go off. I mean, Todd Gurley is going to have to get involved. He hasn't been doing that as much recently. Same thing with Hayden Hurst, two players who in the beginning of the season, they had a few good games, and they're going to have a game like that this week. They don't have to play spectacular. They just have to be playing well. That's it. Nothing crazy. Just have a solid week, average week, and that's all I think that they'll have to do to win this game. Calvin Ridley is going to go off, but it's going to be a high scoring game. I could see 27-30-ish kind of score, something like that. But I think the Falcons somehow are going to pull off an upset this week.
I'm going to go with the Bucks here. I'm not as big a anti-Bucks man as Mr. Mack is here, but yeah, I'm going to take the Bucks. Just because I don't think the Falcons are a very good football team. No Julio Jones this week, so you just got Calvin Ridley. Todd Gurley is god-awful. Their defense is pretty god-awful. So I feel like this could be a real game for the Bucks where they drop a 40-piece on the Falcons, and that Bucks D is solid enough that I don't think the Falcons will be able to really get like the shootout mode turned on. So I think we'll see a Buccaneers win with their offense putting up 30-plus points at least.
Yeah, I do think I'm probably gonna end up regretting that pick, but I
mean, I'll probably regret the football team pick, but
as a Buccaneers fan, it had to be said. But now we got teams. I mean, who not just one person hates, but everyone hates both these teams. It kind of feels like, and that's the 49ers. They're going to Dallas to play the Dallas Cowboys. You know what? I'll let you start off before I let my Cowboys fan in me take it away.
I'm going to go for the Dallas Cowboys here. I really liked what I saw from that offense last week. You know, I think it was a bright spot. And the Niners are just too banged up for me. I don't love Nick Mullins at QB. I feel like he's like, you know, he's probably in the upper echelon of backup QBs in the league. Mm-hmm. But, you know, he's still not anything special. And I feel like the Cowboys defense finally got it going last week enough to the fact that they'll be able to stop the Niners. And their offense, you know, I feel like Zeke could be in for a nice solid week. And, you know, they've got those wideouts. And I feel like Andy Dalton will be able to take advantage of that against you know, Niners defense that, you know, is solid, but the D-line is not what it once was. So that's a huge factor. If they had that strong D-line and the Cowboys were with their depleted O-line, it'd be a big issue for the Dallas Cowboys. But, you know, the D-line for the Niners, really nothing crazy and nothing the Cowboys haven't seen this year. So to me, the Cowboys will be able to overcome some of the strengths in that Niners defense and win this one in Dallas.
Yep, I'm going to agree with you there. Cowboys, I do think this week will get a win. And honestly, I think the Cowboys could finish this season at 2-1 somehow. I mean, maybe beat the Eagles next week. But the Cowboys, how they played last week defensively, it's what you wanted to see. It was just not even really the players playing well. It was just effort, something you haven't seen from the Cowboys. It's not that the players are bad, really. Well, not showing effort is bad, obviously, and makes them look bad. Yeah. But it's been the effort issue. And then last week you saw, even though it was against a bad Bengals team, they showed effort. They came out there, they didn't care that it was the Bengals. They played how they had to play against any team to get a win. And I think that may be a little bit of a glimpse of hope for the Cowboys. I mean, Cowboys, of course, Mike McCarthy said they're still going to try and make the playoffs. So that's the reason why I'm saying the Cowboys are going to get a win here. They're not in tank mode. Mike McCarthy wants these veteran guys to have a shot somehow. The 49ers, on the other hand, just too injured. Brandon Ayuk, we chose him for a reason. He's going to be the main target in that offense for this team. So he's going to have a pretty good game this week, I think. But defensively, the D-line banged up, we all know. Quarterback hurt, tight end hurt. Just too many injuries to pick this team right now. Cowboys are going to get a win here.
I keep realizing each week we pick a receiver and then we pick the defense that team's playing. I mean, we did it last week with Deontay Johnson and the Bills, but I mean, we just seem to do that. But Yeah, I mean, we're not changing that. That was still happy with those picks. And yeah, we'll move on to the Battle of the Birds.
Yeah, the Battle of the Birds. It's the Philadelphia Eagles, who actually still have that shot to make the playoffs as well, especially considering they have that tie. So they do have a good shot there. If well, the football team, of course, has to lose out, but they're going against the other Bird team, and that is the Arizona Cardinals, who are fighting to keep and stay in that with that playoff spot. And Jalen Hurts is starting once again, and I think every week's going to be a fight for who's the starting quarterback. It's not guaranteed each week. It's not guaranteed that Jalen Hurts is going to be the starter next week. So Jalen Hurts is not playing like he's the starting quarterback. He has to fight for that spot each week, every week, and he's going to be fighting this week. And I do think the Eagles are going to come in a little bit of an upset, and they're going to beat this Cardinals team who hasn't been playing as well as they were in the beginning of the season as of recent. But this is going to be a game where Hurts, he comes out, plays hard with some of those weapons he has. It was a fired up team we saw last week, something you haven't seen with Carson Wentz at the starting quarterback. This team was rallying for each other. They were hyped up, making plays. Jalen Hurts, Miles Sanders, of course, we saw what they did in the running game. But then you saw Alshon Jeffrey with that catch. I mean, that's a catch in the end zone that I don't think would have been made with Carson Wentz. I don't think he really would have tried to make the play, make that big play, if I'm being honest with you. This is an offense that's rejuvenated with Jalen Hurts, and I think they're going to come out here, play hard, and get a win over the Arizona Cardinals.
I'm gonna go for the Cardinals here. I think it was a great game from Jalen Hurts. I think he's gonna have a down week though. I mean, I don't. I think there was still an element of surprise that the Saints had to deal with in terms of preparing for him. They didn't really know if he was going to be, really chilling in the pocket, using his legs to scramble, pass on the run. But he really was a guy who was running the ball a lot. And I think the Cardinals will be better prepared for that. I'm not saying they'll be able to stop it easier, but I feel like Jalen Hurts will be contained in the rushing attack at least a little more. In terms of the passing attack, I still feel like the Eagles' weapons are just not where they need to be for him to really have a huge game. And on the flip side of the ball, I feel like the Cardinals' offense is poised for a really big game. Specifically, D-Hop hasn't gotten going really in a while now. I feel like he's been a little sluggish recently. So I feel like this week against the Eagles secondary that played well last week, but they weren't dealing with that really, really superstar deep threat like a DeAndre Hopkins that's burned them like we've seen with DK Metcalf. So I feel like that's going to be the kind of matchup when turn last week they had to deal with Mr. Slant Boy himself, Michael Thomas. It was a little easier for that defense to contain just because of the nature of it. So Kyler Murray this week also, scrambler. Eagles haven't really fared too well against those guys this year. So I'm going to go with the Cardinals here, but Eagles could, pull off an upset again, but I feel like their magic might have run out after last week.
Yep. Couldn't agree with some of those points, but
I mean,
it's
all right. There we go. Rams both of us by 20 points.
Yep.
We'll move
The
on.
Rams. Hey, I didn't even get time to write that down real quick.
I mean, that's just 3 points at that point.
All right. We'll see. Maybe the Jets getting a little bit of an upset there. Give some luck to the Jags. Maybe get that first pick. Don't need Justin Fields. I mean, you never know. But right now, this is game of the year. I think this is potential Super Bowl matchup, and this is the Kansas City Chiefs at the New Orleans Saints. This game, I mean, with Taysom Hill there, I think that's still even potential game of the year. But Chiefs Saints, I'm lost for words. I'm gonna let you talk for this one first, but I'm really excited to see what happens in this game.
I'm gonna pick the Chiefs here. I'm not gonna pick against the Chiefs. I can't. I just think they're a better team, honestly, too. I feel like the Saints defense last week, they kind of got exposed a little bit. They've been very strong, but Pat Mahomes this week is just a different breed. They haven't faced anything like him this year. They can say they faced Brady, they've stopped Brady. This team is not Brady. They haven't dealt with this many deep field threats. They haven't dealt with, Travis Kelce. They haven't dealt with Tyreek Hill this year. You can't prepare enough to be able to be fully ready to deal with those guys. So I'm going to pick Chiefs here. I feel like Saints also. Drew Brees coming back first week. Who knows what his status is in terms of health, how he's looking. I mean, he's old. He dealt with a really, really serious injury. So I feel like it's a little hard to just say off the rip that he's going to be ready to go, just going to be doing his thing again. So I'm going to pick the Chiefs. I feel like it's hard to pick against the Chiefs. You might honestly pick against the Chiefs. I don't know what you're thinking here, but I'm going to go just Chiefs just because I think the best team in the NFL, and I don't think they'll lose this game. Although it is in the Superdome, so anything happens in the Superdome.
Yep, anything could happen, but I have to agree with you. The Kansas City Chiefs, they're too hot. They're too good. I mean, you have two of the most actually, you know what? Three of the most consistent players in the NFL: Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and Tyreek Hill. They all always play consistent. Never really have a bad game. And even when Pat Mahomes starts having a bad game, it never ends up being a bad game. It ends up being a bad drive, a bad quarter, and then he'll take control of the rest of the game. And that's why he is so special. He doesn't have a bad game the entire game. Have a bad portion of the game. The rest will be great, and that's why he is going to go down as a GOAT in just a few years. I think we're going to be able to say that. But as you said, for the Saints, not sure of how Drew Brees will play. It's his first week back after a devastating injury, as we all know, a big injury, and you're going to be without Slant Boy. But what's beyond me with some of these injuries? I mean, you break almost every rib. I don't know how you're back that fast. It's crazy. You puncture your lung. I mean, my dad had the same type of injury. Not as many ribs, obviously. It was only a few, but I mean, he was out for months. So it's beyond what they're giving these guys. It makes no sense. It's like they're getting a steroid COVID vaccine or something like that to heal up. But this is going to be a good game for the Chiefs. It's going to be close, and I think Drew Brees, he's great. So I don't think he'll let that injury prohibit him in any way. So he's going to find a way to make plays and try and keep this game close. But the Chiefs are going to end up coming out on top.
I agree with that. I agree with that. And now the prime time games. So there's no Thursday next week. There's Friday. I'm realizing. Interesting.
That's weird.
Friday, 3 Saturday.
I did not know there was Friday game next week.
I didn't either. So next week's some good football, and then the rest, and then week 17. There's no Sunday night either. That's weird. Yep. Weird scheduling, but
all right. Prime time game, one of the last ones we're gonna have for Sunday night, and that is the Cleveland Browns going to New York to face the New York Giants. Both teams find to make the playoffs. Browns obviously in that division with the Pittsburgh Steelers, maybe trying to find a way to somehow take control of that division somehow. Unlikely, but they're definitely going to be in the playoffs. The Giants, however, on the other end, they're fighting to make the playoffs. A very realistic shot that they have, considering they have a decent schedule. If they pull out a win over the Browns, I think they have a very good shot at making the playoffs in the NFC East. But right now, I'm going to have to pick your Ohio roots, and that's the Cleveland Browns. Baker Mayfield. I don't think he's going to have as good of a game as he has the past few weeks, but I don't know if that made sense, but I don't know. But Baker Mayfield, I don't think he's going to have as good as a game as he did last week, but he's going to play fairly well. This is going to be a game where I think, even against the New York Giants, who their best part of their defense is that run-stopping defense, but they're going against the Cleveland Browns. Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb last week, still great game, and it wasn't even that great of a run game for them. As we saw, it was really about the pass last week. This is a game where Nick Chubb is going to have a great game, and I think Kareem Hunt as well. The Giants are going to have to keep up without Daniel Jones, and that's going to be really, really hard to do. Colt McCoy, I don't think is good enough to hang in there with the Browns this week, so I'm going to give it to the Browns.
Yeah. Sorry, I just got an alert on my phone that Rudy Gobert has done a 5-year, $205 million extension. That's pretty crazy, but we won't touch on that today. Maybe we'll talk about it next week. But I'm gonna go Browns here too. I was gonna go Browns regardless of the G-men and their injuries if they were a fully healthy team. But the G-men, no Danny Dimes, no James Bradbury, and your offensive coordinator is not calling the plays. So bit of an issue there for the G-men against a very good team, the Cleveland Browns. So see what happens. I think that this is the game where you want Daniel Jones just because their defense can be can be broken and can be scored against. I think their run D is in terms of a running back, I feel like it's a little stronger than their passing defense. But who knows? I mean, it's the Cleveland Browns here. Playoff team. They got the Giants, and then they got the Jets, and then they got the Steelers. So should be in the playoffs. I think the Browns are excited. They get another primetime game, and I feel like this one is going to be a victory for them. But I just don't see Colt McCoy being able to upset here. I just can't pick the G-men, and I can't pick against the Cleveland Browns here. So we'll go for the Browns there.
Gotta stick to the Ohio roots, I guess, there. But now this is
not this team for this Ohio
not
roots.
This one, not this one.
This one is, yeah, the Steelers are going to probably win this game by a large sum of points.
Yeah, this is the Steelers at the Bengals. If you guys aren't looking at your screens, Steelers. Yeah, I probably shouldn't have been talking about the Ohio roots from the last game. Once you clicked onto this one, but yeah, I was still
Yeah,
talking about the Browns ones for those who were paying attention to the screen. But the Steelers Bengals. I mean, I hope the Bengals win. I mean, just the Steelers. I hate them. Worst 11-0 team in
yeah,
history. Worst. I mean, they're a bad 11-2 team to say the least. But their schedule carried them. They're going to get a win here, and that's only because they're playing the Bengals. I mean, I honestly hope the Bengals pull an upset somehow, but this could be all Steelers for this game.
yeah. Yeah, and that will do it for the predictions for Week 15 now of the NFL season. Pretty crazy there. And I know we said we're going to do it, so we'll finish off today with the college football playoff prediction.
Yep.
I believe it comes out today, right?
Yep. I'm not sure what time, but today.
Yeah, it comes out today. So yeah, we're filming this Sunday morning. So as soon as this ends, we'll be quickly editing it and uploading it. So if you're watching this on Sunday, getting it up quick. But yeah, so we'll do our playoff prediction, and then next week we will talk about MLB free agent prediction or trade predictions, and maybe even some more stuff. That'll be our last episode of 2020.
Wow.
And then it'll be the new year where we are really excited. We've got a lot of big plans that are coming into full motion quickly. So, we're keeping that on the low. January 1st, we will post a video explaining everything that we are doing and everything that we are expanding. And yeah, it's going to be a big year. So quickly, we will go with our college football predictions. And let's start with our 1 seeds here, Mac. I am going to take the Crimson Tide, Alabama. You're not going to take them out of that position. They beat the Florida Gators last night. And yeah, you're not going to take them out of that 1 seed, undefeated team. They played a lot of games as well. It's not one of those like Ohio State teams. It's a little sketchy. So Alabama, and I'm sure you're going to pick them as well, will be the 1 seed.
Yep, Alabama should easily be the 1 seed. As you said, beat Florida. Najee Harris, 5-touchdown game. Absolutely monster game. I mean, you got 3 guys on that team. Mac Jones, Heisman candidate. I mean, Najee Harris, he's not a Heisman candidate, but you're putting up 5 touchdowns, absolutely insane. And then you also have Devonta Smith, best wide receiver in the country this year. So no way you could pick against them at that number 1 seed. So Alabama for me.
Number 2 here, I'm going to go with the Clemson Tigers. Big win against Notre Dame yesterday. They won by a fair sum of points. And, they lost that only game very close in overtime, maybe double or triple overtime against Notre Dame, but they didn't have Trevor Lawrence. So to me, number 2 should be pretty easy, and that'll be the Clemson Tigers.
Yep, I'm going to agree with you there 100%. I mean, honestly, this list may end up being the same. It's all going to depend on the next one. But yeah, I can't agree with you more. It's Clemson for number 2.
And number 3 is where it gets a little interesting. I mean, let's be real here. There's kind of, I guess you could even say 4 teams that are in for these 2 spots. You got Notre Dame, you got Ohio State, you got Texas A&M, and I guess Cincinnati you could consider for it, although that is unlikely. So the 3 seed is really interesting. I mean, I don't think Texas A&M jumps to the 3 seed. So it's kind of between this Notre Dame team that just lost by 24 or something like that to Clemson.
Something like that, yeah.
Let me check the score.
And actually, you know what? Before I even get there, I'm just going to say this Notre Dame team, I mean, who knows after that? Do they even make the playoffs? Because the playoffs, it's all about people. I mean, teams that can contend. I mean, you just played a contender, a matchup that you would see in the playoffs, and you couldn't handle it. So, I mean, that's just something to note here in the playoffs, where a lot of people who thought Notre Dame was great, that one loss could really be a difference maker in today's decision.
Yeah. So for my 3 seed, I'm going to pick the Ohio State Buckeyes here. I agree with you. I don't think people want to see that 3rd Notre Dame Clemson matchup right now. I feel like, you actually brought up a good point. I was a little unsure, but I feel like the Ohio State Buckeyes, really narrow win yesterday, but they won by 12. Fields did not look great, but Notre Dame or Northwestern really was a solid team. They've been a solid team throughout the whole season. The rules have been bent a little along the way for Ohio State, definitely, but It's been a rough year for the Big Ten and amid COVID stuff, especially for Ohio State. So while I don't think they will beat Clemson, I think Ohio State will be the 3 seed here. And yeah, they'll be in the college football playoff. So what are you taking with your three
Yep,
seed?
I'm gonna agree with you there. I mean, that Notre Dame game really changed everything. I mean, it was likely gonna be for me Notre Dame at this position and then Ohio State, but after Notre Dame's performance, it's got to be Ohio State right now. I mean, you saw what they did yesterday versus Northwestern. I was supposed to say Northeastern by accident, but they played great ending that game. I mean, you saw I was like, it's kind of like what I said with Patrick Mahomes. You had a bad quarter, bad half, whatever it may be, and then plays good yesterday. That was bad first half, really. Then came alive in the second half. Trey Sermon played great. I mean, congratulations to him setting the Ohio State rushing record in the Big Ten championship. Great day by him, and I think that's going to be a big help for this team once they're in the playoffs. So this third choice for me is going to be the Ohio State Buckeyes.
So now it gets a little interesting. You got Notre Dame and you got Texas A&M. So both one-loss teams. Notre Dame lost to Clemson. Texas A&M lost to Alabama. They both lost by 24 plus points. So now I guess you got to get a strength of schedule, really. Notre Dame beat Clemson. They beat UNC, who is ranked. Texas A&M, the only other ranked team they beat is Florida, who's a solid team. They beat Florida by 3. I'm going to go Notre Dame here, though. Texas A&M, I'm looking at their schedule right now. They beat Vanderbilt by 5. They beat Florida by 3. They beat Mississippi State by 14. Arkansas by 11. They blew out South Carolina. Beat LSU by 2 touchdowns. Beat Auburn by 11. And then they won yesterday by 3 touchdowns. But those to me just aren't decisive enough of victories to outrule the Notre Dame victory over Clemson. They beat UNC as well. And otherwise, Notre Dame has really won all their games by 2 or more touchdowns. They had a close game with Louisville, but I'm going to go Notre Dame here. I think it's going to be close. I feel like they're going to get blown out as well by Alabama. So maybe the committee will put in Texas A&M, but they already got blown out by Alabama as well. So it's kind of a tough situation, but I'll put in the Fighting Irish with my final spot. Lock it in. That's my playoff.
I mean, I think Notre Dame is going to get in, but you know what? I'm just going to be a little bit different. Give it to Texas A&M. I mean, this team put up a fight. I mean, beginning of the season, we know. I mean, they're winning games, but I mean, it was nothing special. I mean, lost. Of course, they had that big loss, and then they started picking things up. They've been playing well. They beat Florida, and I just think because of how recent that Notre Dame loss was and how big of a loss it is, I think that's going to really affect it because I just can't see how a team they lose by whatever it was 20 plus points this week, and then in what, a week and a half, 2 weeks, they're going to be playing the same team or teams similar or better than them. I just think they're going to take a shot at a team that may have a little bit of a better chance at winning right now. So I'm going to give it to Texas A&M, but it's probably going to end up being Notre Dame just based on how the playoffs have been chosen the past few years. But I'm going to just switch it up a little bit and take Texas A&M.
Yeah, I mean, there it is. I mean, it's probably going to be, it'll be probably one of those two. So we'll see who gets it right here. But yeah, that's really all the content we got for this week's episode. So yeah, I'll let Mac outro this one. I'm going to have to, we're both going to have to work on this that a little bit, get it up. But we'll have it up hopefully I'm hoping by noon. So we got an hour and 40 minutes right now to get it up. So we'll see. So
yeah,
why don't you wrap this one up for us, Mac?
Yeah, you're gonna have to speed through that editing, huh? That's gonna be a tough one. Then I'm not even sure how long that upload takes, so we kind of forgot. I'm not sure
it
if
could be a long. It sometimes is slow, so we'll see how the Wi-Fi's feeling today. Hopefully good.
Yeah, hopefully. But everyone, want to thank you all for watching this week's episode of Outside the Arena. Next week, you heard it. We're gonna be adding some new. We're gonna be doing some new topics, to say the least. We're gonna do some MLB. I mean, we're gonna start doing NBA as well too, in addition to this NFL stuff. Make sure to follow us on Instagram. My Instagram is mac.rommel. Griffin's Instagram is
Griffin Senek.
And our podcast Instagram is Outside the Arena Podcast. Please feel free to reach out to us there and be ready. Outside the Arena 2021. Big things coming. You heard Griffin say it, January 1st. I mean, we're excited. We're very excited. I mean, You know what? Let's make a goal right now. I'm saying we gotta at least have 1,000 subs by sometime in 2021. We have to hit 1,000.
I think I'm hoping that we have over like 3,000 subs by the end of February. That would be, I mean, that shows you guys we have, a big guest is hopefully coming on soon. It's in the works. And we're also working on upping the production right now. We're also going to be expanding, to other platforms, potentially even creating a second channel here. So it's a lot of work that we're going to be doing, but when we're off from school, we really have nothing else to truly work on. So we're going to put 100% of our energy into this, and it's going to be really, really special come 2021. I think it's going to be a really, really big year for us, and we'll hopefully, have a takeover. So we'll see what happens.
Yep, I was about to say that it's going to be an OTA takeover 2021. You heard him say it, 2 to 3,000 subs at the end of February. That's how big this guest is. We think one little promo could really, really boost his channel. And
we might be him. We might be him dead gay. Who knows?
Maybe. We're hoping. I mean, 2021 is a big year for Outside the Arena. We're excited you guys are going to be a part of it. And as always, we'll see you next week on Outside the Arena.